Hi, my name is FX the Dehypnotist, and I wanted to create a little video that explains a little bit about me and the name. What I realized is from a very young age, I've always been against sensationalism. What's really important to me is being a desensationalist. So the dehypnotist is the idea of helping pull people out of sensationalism into a more subtle experience where they can focus on what it is they want to achieve. Nowadays, this process in a big way looks like mindfulness. However, what we do here is way more than just that. But I want to keep going with the story. So for a long time, I felt above average while simultaneously feeling below average. And the reason I felt below average is because of class. It's because of how poor we were growing up. How poor, I'm still average. And that's not important. But that's what I'm trying to show, is that there's a lot of us that are busting our butts, making ends meet, and we're not over there in the six-figure, seven-figure income club. And there's this strange lie that when a person makes that much money, somehow they're better than other people. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, no, that's true. And that's fine. I don't think this is the place for you. Because then you're denying opportunities and handshakes and getting hooked up with jobs and how important social interactions are. And it's a lot less. It's a lot more of a lottery than we think, right? How many people have jobs that they don't deserve, right? How many people have jobs that that they can't even fulfill the basic duties, right? How many people have jobs that they shouldn't have, right? That's what I'm talking about. But I digress. Taking a step back, I've realized what gets in the way of people feeling average or higher is that sensationalism. It's all the hype. It's all the viral videos. It's that competition for likes. It's all of that, right? All that noise. So the dehypnotist helps pull people out of that. Why is this important? So if we look over here to our sensations, all of that is set up to just super stimulate us, to overstimulate our sensations. And what happens is then we miss the subtleness of life. And this is another reason why mindfulness is so important. Taking a step back, who's FX? So, I'm the above average, below average human. I grew up poor. I grew up mentally and physically abused. For 11 years, I had to deal with that. Then after I got away from that, I fell into crack addiction for 3 years. I struggled with that for a while until I've been clean for 13 years now. And that's been huge. And even though I've done something so tremendous as that, I've never given myself credit for it up until recently. And that's what all of this is for. It's to help people get out of that so they can get back into this and remember all the things they've done so they can begin giving themselves credit for where they are and where they're going. Does that make sense? So at the root, that's who I am. That's what's important to me. What's important to me is protecting people from bullies, from abuse. What's important, and I feel like the hype is one of the biggest, subtlest bullies. We don't know, right? Think about it. This is actually pretty mainstream as an idea nowadays. There's a lot of research, or at least, what do you call it? There's a lot of discourse around this idea that the mainstream marketing machine is set up to make us feel completely inferior, so that way we'll be compelled to buy stuff from the market to fill the void that it creates. Right? Look, how terrible is that? So what we do here is to help pull people out of that and then to begin to fill the void. And what do we fill the void with? I'm going to make another video on this, but we fill it with self-compassion and trust. And there's a lot of different ways we accomplish this, but these two pieces are so critical to make anything in life that much easier. So that's the spirit of who I am in our community. It's self-compassion, trust, and love. Looking at what we've done and giving ourselves credit. So my name is FX, and this is what's kind of cool. I want to share this too, because this is going to confuse some people. My middle name is not what it is. I have a legal name that I'm in the process of changing. It's just with the courts and everything, I don't know when this is going to happen. So for now, I've adopted a new middle name. And this is an act of freedom, of being free of my abusers. That middle name reminds me of them and who I was when I was caught in their web. And by replacing my middle initial with the name Xavier, it really encapsulates how I see this process. Because one of my biggest heroes is Professor Xavier from X-Men. What I really love, number one, is that he's mostly a pacifist. I would say that he's completely a pacifist, but I'm sure there's times where he had to, like, in the comics where he's gone self-defense, so he's not technically a pacifist, right? But he's got a very strong spirit of handling things outside of violence, right? He's got a pacifist spirit. That's what I love, because that's basically, it just reminds me of the dark side. There's a bully, right? And when we bring ourselves down to the level of the bully, then we become the bully. Right? So we have to, well, we don't have to do anything, but it's important to think about how important it is to stay on the light side, to not to give in to hate, right? So that's one part, but then what does Professor Xavier do? Oh man, this is going to make me cry. He saves lost children, you know? That were, that basically were how I was, that don't know better, that don't know where to go, that don't feel like they have anywhere to go. So he saves them. And he helps them see who they are. He helps them tap into their inner potential and into their inner gifts. And he helps them create the steps so they can become who they want to be. And that's really what I want to do with everything I'm putting together. Is to just save those kids and show them who they are inside. So they know who they are, and they know who they can be, and they know how they are becoming. And that's the spirit of who I am. So thanks for listening.